Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing. Any likes, any comments, please continue to do so. We appreciate it, and we are thrilled to have back with us again, covers the New England Patriots, Mike Reiss of ESPN. Mike, thanks for doing this.
Mike, great to be with you. As always, looking forward to the trip out to Western New York. I prefer them, September, October, but early December with a lot on the line and a Monday night environment. This one will be special, no doubt.
Now, before we get to just how good this Patriots team is, how they match up, I was thinking about something. You and I have been covering these teams for a long time, me a few years before. And I was thinking of the fact that they've rarely been true rivals. If you go through the standings, there's very few seasons where these two franchises competed for the top spot. I mean, back in the early 90s, it was all Bills. And then there was a stretch there. I think I had 1 year where they were a game apart at the top. And then even in like 2010, 3 games apart, and 2 years ago, they were 2 games apart. But it's rarely been Bills, Patriots at the top. Isn't that kind of strange considering how these two franchises are linked?
It is. At the same time, my thought as you were explaining this was that there have been no shortage of great moments despite that.
Yes.
Right? I mean, and the first one that came to my mind was like season opener of 2003, the Lawyer Malloy game, Drew Bledsoe. Yep. Like it just, so to me, like, and we could make a list of the memorable moments. Like even one to me that stood out was like, I think it was the end of the 2008 season. It might've been the last game, and Patriots were actually, they had to win to get in. The Bills, I think, were out of it, but it was so windy. I think they had to like tie down the goalposts because they were like tilting over, and like a punt by the Chris Hansen, the punter, was like the play of the game because he was punting into like these gale force winds. We could write a book, an article just on like moments of the matchups, even though the rivalry wasn't as such where they were at the top of the standings.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about that 2003, and I was there. I remember the 31-0. Of course, Bills fans know how that season ended with the Patriots beating the Bills 31-0. Greg Williams getting fired, Patriots going on to the Super Bowl. So that's sort of been the way it's ended for the Bills. And Bills fans right now, as they're listening to this, are thinking about the just give it to them game in Foxboro when they heard the officials say, just give it to them on a pass play late in the game. Wade Phillips was coaching. He flipped out. I believe the Patriots did an extra point without the Bills on the field after the touchdown. So, yeah, there have been some quite big moments, and I think we're in store for 2 of them in December. This is what I think is great, that these teams are together. So, look, Bills fans have been focused on their team, always with one eye on the Patriots. From where you sit, how good is this Patriots team?
Well, they're physically and mentally tough, Mike. So if you just want to start with that, like if you're going to beat them, you got to knock them out. Like they're not going to give it to you. They were 2-4 after 6 games. And I think the biggest question that I've sort of been getting the last couple of days, like what's turned around for them? How have they won the last 6 games? And there's a long list that we can go through again on stuff like that. But I would start with turnovers. Like they're such a key part of the game. They were -3 in the turnover differential when they were 2-4. They are currently +10. So they've been +13 in their 6-game win streak. So when you are plus in the turnover differential, you win games. If we really want to simplify it to like the most simple form. And so I think that alone makes them a worthy foe.
Yeah, well, Bills fans can relate because it's what Brian Daboll's been talking about, Sean McDermott. When they have lost, when the Bills have played poorly, it's all been about turning the football over. They've been way up and down in those categories. They had the turnovers in Jacksonville, turnovers in the loss to the Colts, and then they bounce back. So we all watch Mac Jones. Everybody told, people around the league that he's a great fit. What is it about this young guy that has made him that great fit? And is he developing? Is he doing more than what people would think of just sort of, to use that phrase, game managing right now?
So let's go back, Mike. Think about the early Patriots 2000 teams. Like this is the same thing. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady. Like, let's not be ridiculous here. But that same formula that they used back then, efficient offense, make sure the quarterback stays within himself. Don't put him in compromising positions, just like they did with Tom Brady in 2001, 2002, when he was breaking in. Max doing the same thing. And it's not just short passes. He can throw it down the field, but they pick their spots. And he is a great competitor. He's very smart. And you'll see certain plays. You can pick plays out where you'd look at it and say, oh my, it's third down. They're going empty. And they're putting it all on the quarterback, just like they did with Tom as he was progressing. Max doing the same thing. So all that stuff is positive. I view it as a master class from the Patriots coaching staff on how best to bring along a rookie quarterback. And honestly, like the Bills, they could teach that class too, because I think they did a pretty good job with Josh Allen, from my view, from afar, bringing him along to get him to the point that he's at now. Yeah. There's a process, Mike. Like, look at it around the league. I think it's 6-27 for teams other than the Patriots this year starting rookie quarterbacks. 6-27. Patriots are 8-4. Like, that's just undeniable. That's just really, really a job well done by the coaching staff and Mac himself.
I'm always interested in how young quarterbacks handle who they are. Josh Allen got thrown in as the starter that rookie year. Wasn't really the plan, and then quickly it became the plan. And I always felt like Josh did a really good job of navigating the locker room. When you become the guy before you really deserve to be the guy, then you earn that right. And he is developed along with that, and his relationship with the other players has been phenomenal, because I think he knew who he was. And I think we've seen it around the league. Sometimes a rookie comes in, is given the job, and they walk right in thinking they're the man. How has Mac Jones navigated? I know we can't get in the locker rooms as much, but you talk to everybody. How has he navigated being the guy as a rookie with the New England Patriots?
Literally, Mike, exactly what you just said. Like, I couldn't have said it any better. Like, he is shy by nature, Mac. And so he comes in and wins the quarterback job over Cam Newton, who shy would probably be the last thing you would describe Cam as. But through his approach of just being himself and a genuine article, if you will, I think he won over the players' respect. And they're actually, Patriots have great veteran leadership. Matthew Slater, Devin McCourty, just to name a few. And they have David Andrews, the center, and they've created a culture where they've lifted Mac up and they've said, you know what, it's you can exert yourself a little more. Like, we want to give you that, but it has to sort of happen organically, Mike, like you described it with Josh Allen. And we've seen Mac's comfort level grow in that area, but they'd like him to be even more assertive. But I think it's hard when you're a rookie and coming into a locker room with a lot of veteran guys who have been around and won championships.
Yeah. When we talk about this offense, the fantasy football world that people think would say, well, New England doesn't have the weapons that people are aware of. But I look at the numbers and I look at the way this team plays. And I think the biggest difference I see in the Patriots offense to even the Bills offense, which can pass the ball and can move, is yards after the catch and guys making plays on the move. That seems to be when he's getting the ball, especially, to Myers and Bourne. And we saw it on Sunday. He's got him on the move, hitting him in stride. And that seems to be a key to this passing game.
Great observation and right on the money, just like Mac's passes, because they're right on the money, allowing those receivers to gain the yards after the catch. I mean, we see it all the time. A slight inaccuracy, 20 potential yards after the catch can turn into 0, right? Because the receiver had to adjust to catch the ball. So combination of Mac throwing a catchable the players catching the ball, good runners after the catch. Kendrick Bourne's been a little bit of a find coming over from the 49ers after 4 years in that area. Jacoby Myers, super reliable. So you're looking at it from a Bills perspective, got to tackle. Got to tackle well in this game because the Patriots will make you pay in that area if you don't.
And how about Hunter Henry? It seemed like he got off to a bit of a rough start. We know the guy could play, and now he's really come around for them.
So 3 years, 37.5 million, Mike. They paid big. They got nothing out of the tight ends last year. And tight ends are a huge part of the way the Patriots want to play the game. They sort of look at those guys as matchup nightmares. If you can block well, you can put him and Jonnu Smith, who they paid big for as well, and he's been up and down, put it both on the field. And you can run out of that grouping, you can pass out of it, and sort of force the defense to declare how they're going to match up, and sort of put you in a driver's seat from a chess match perspective. Hunter and Mac have developed a great chemistry, specifically in the red zone. Like Mac actually missed a pass to Hunter in Sunday's win over the Titans, probably one of his worst throws of the game that was there for him. But when the chips are down and they need a play, like if you're the Bills, that's a guy, like make sure you got Hunter Henry covered, because that's probably where Mac would be looking first.
It's kind of interesting. Numbers can lie. We all know that. I think the Bills have rushed for more yards than the Patriots this year. And a lot of that is obviously Josh Allen, because the Bills are really a team that handing it to a back and getting yardage has not been a strength for this team. Running the ball with this Patriots offense, how would you describe it? Would you say efficient? Would you say dependable? How would you say they've handled the run portion of their offense?
So to me, the running game has been the foundation for their success over the 6-game winning streak. Like when they get Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson, the rookie out of Oklahoma, going, like they're tough to beat, because the offensive line has sort of found a groove, opening up holes for them. And then they have play action passing game off of that, which really can challenge the opposition. So the Titans this past Sunday did a great job, Mike, through the first 3 quarters. They basically said, we're not going to let the run beat us. Let's see if Mac Jones can beat us. And Mac hung in there. It wasn't easy. It was a struggle, grinded out game. But it wasn't until the fourth quarter where, like, to your point about how rushing yardage can be deceiving, Patriots had over 100 yards rushing in the game. 58 of those came in the fourth quarter when they sort of put the hammer down on them. So to me, stop the run. That's got to be the Bills' top priority, just looking at it from a Bills perspective going into this game.
All right, let's switch to the other side. And this defense really seems to be making plays. And I saw the play Jackson made with the strip. You give up the long run. And I said to people here, I'm like, yeah, they gave up a big play, but that's technique to me. That's technique of attacking. And look, they're not the only guy that uses the Peanut Tillman strip, but it was perfect and got the ball out. They seem to have guys who, Judon has been so good. What has this defense been like? I know they were pretty good on defense last year, but what's made them even better this year?
So, well, on the J.C. Jackson play, I mean, just to hold myself accountable, Mike, I mean, I remember when he made the play, I think I tweeted something. I said, man, the run fits are all, not looking good. So much space to run. Big struggle right now, but the turnover bails them out. Not the type of way you want to live on defense. Like, I agree with you. Like, great play by J.C. Jackson, maybe a little careless on the ball security for the Titans, but turnovers, like we talked about, have been a key for the defense. And let's get into Matt Judon. He's got 11.5 sacks. They paid him big money, 4 years, $56.5 million, if I have the numbers right off the top of my head. And he's been as advertised. He's brought a great attitude to them, an edge. Now, he struggled a little bit against the run in this last game. Didn't hold the edge very well. I'm not sure how much of a factor that'll be in this game, because like you said, the Bills and handing the ball off, not necessarily their bread and butter, right?
Yeah. No, it hasn't been. And it's interesting when I think about, that's what I was going to think about with last year with the 2 games between the teams. The first game, the Patriots really shut down Allen. Bills were fortunate to win. Cam with the fumble late in the game, and they survived. And then in the second game, the Bills kind of lit them up. And that was the first time we've seen Allen. Had a couple of moments on that night game in Foxboro a couple of years ago, but in this game where he really, really took off against him. And it's the rare sweep in the division of Bill Belichick and the Patriots. So, how would you think that the Patriots are going to attack Josh Allen and the Bills offense this year?
Well, so I am very interested to see how this unfolds because I look at it and there's a part of me that wonders if a vulnerability of the Patriots defense is their depth at corner. And so to me, like if I'm the Bills, I'm probably going 3-4 wide receivers. And I'm going to try to get to that third and fourth corner. Miles Bryant, Joanne Williams, Sean Wade, a rookie, is the fifth corner. And I think somehow the Patriots got to protect themselves. I don't know how they're going to do it, Mike, but also Josh Allen as a runner. Like there's got to be some linebacker level spy game in play here. Those are some of the initial thoughts on my mind as I forecast the matchup. Easy to sort of say it. I think harder to execute it if you're the Patriots.
Yeah, I said it last week. I think the Bills are a better team when Josh Allen picks his spots and runs. He's a very effective runner. When he's smart about it, he's not taking a hit. And that's what he did. I mean, against the Saints, he just picked his spots. I think it was 9 rushes, all pretty effective. And it gets him going too a little bit. I think it needs to be part of the Bills game. I mean, most teams, might shy away from that because you got your franchise quarterback, but I think he can be pretty effective in when the play breaks down or when the coverage is in that certain spot and he can go. You've been around Bill Belichick a long time. We've all seen you on ESPN. We've heard the questions when everybody's trying to ask him. But you get a sense, at least being around him, how much do you think he really, really likes this team and what they've put together, especially coming off last year?
I think he likes him a lot, Mike. I think he respects him a lot because they were 2-4. Didn't play their best football at the time, really had a couple costly turnovers. A couple of those games could have gone the other way. Season could have gone in the wrong direction. I mean, they were in a dogfight with the Houston Texans in week 5, and they hung in there. And I think their response to that adversity earned the team a lot of respect from Bill and their sort of day-to-day process. I think he really likes them, appreciates the way they've sort of uplifted Mac in a tough situation, the way we talked about before. And I think I always say this, like, no one knows the way these games are going to turn out, but you get to December, and I try to think like Bill. And I think if I had to guess, he's probably like, you know what, I'll take my chances with this team because I know they're going to give me everything they got. And that's all you can really ask for. And then you go let the chips fall where they may.
On your network, many other ones, the Patriots have become that team now, right? And that happens where during a year, all of a sudden, it's like, hey, why not New England? Could they be that way? Fan base wise, it's been a spoiled fan base. Let's face it, tremendous success through the years. Do they really believe now, is Monday maybe going to show them that they can be that team in the AFC this year?
I mean, why not, Mike? I mean, I think to me, it's as much about the Patriots as it is about the NFL and the AFC on the whole this year. This thing is wide open for a number of teams. And the one thing I think to me, when I think about why not the Patriots, if you compare them to every other team in the AFC, call it, they just haven't had the bomb game, the one game where you're like, whoa, what's going on here? They've been in every game. They're 8-4, but in their 4 losses, we could go through them and be like, if that play flipped here, that game could have gone in the other direction. If this play flipped there, I don't know. Is there another team that we can really say that towards? And they've continued to get better week to week, which I think adds to the confidence level.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's not what the Bills have been this year. Last year, they were very consistent. This year, consistency has been an issue for them, and it's obviously a big game and a big moment for them coming into this. I have to ask you 2 other things. One about Belichick. It's funny. You smile when I said about asking the questions. I always am fascinated by this because I've been, in tons of news conferences with coaches, maybe everybody from Rex to McDermott to, Dick Duran, they're all very different. But do you have to really think about, you said, I try to think like Bill. Are you thinking like Bill when you're asking him a question? Because we all know the way he just shuts down any question he doesn't want to answer. Do you really have to think differently before you ask it?
Definitely. And Mike, I've been sort of taking the practice of writing my question down, before, because every word matters. And I think that probably counts for any coach that we talk with, right? But I'll tell you a quick funny story, in trying to think like Bill on ESPN. They have us each week as the reporters covering the team. And there's a great reporter out in Western New York, Elena Getzenberg, who's just starting out after taking over for Marcel Louis Jacques, and they make us do a confidence rating, and each week. So, Patriots win. What's your confidence rating? 0 to 10. And my confidence rating right now for the Patriots is 6.6. And if you look at all the other reporters and their confidence ratings for, like, call it the top 10 teams in the power rankings, everyone's up in the 7s and 8s. And I get some people that respond to me on Twitter, Mike. They say, "Hey, what's up with the 6.6?" To which I say, "I guess I'm on the Bill Belichick grading scale." Like, he's in my head, Mike,
Yeah, I can see how that happens because he does downplay a lot. Have there been any cracks this year? Like saying something about Mac. I heard him talking about, I think it was Adrian Phillips the other day, like where you get a little more of, last year it'd be a little hard on him. I mean, this guy's won so much, but you got Brady winning a Super Bowl, everything going well in Tampa, and it was a really down year and a tough year, and he's back this year. There's no doubt Belichick is back. Have you seen, when I say cracks, I mean where he doesn't just give the standard, we all got to do our jobs kind of thing. Have you seen any of that? Because it does seem like he really likes this team.
So I've seen it, but Mike, I would actually say, like, to me, like, the context of that whole discussion, like, he praises the guys, plenty. Like, I don't think there's been any difference there. What I've noticed is I just think the cracks have been more like, thankfully, like, we're back to football close to the way it was before COVID.
Yeah.
Like, they're still dealing with it, but I think last year was hard for them. Less about, like, Tom going to Tampa and, like, they, like, couldn't practice certain weeks.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think for my experience with Bill, and I'm, again, trying to think like him, don't want to put words in his mouth. I just think he feels like it's better football, better experience. Like, you could just be better the way it is. And I think that, to me, is part of why he's enjoying it a lot more as well.
Yeah. Coaches love practice, don't they? I mean, they all love practice.
And meeting, Mike, and meeting with the team. Like, you take it for granted, but, like, just the ability to be in the same room and to talk, and to look someone in the eye. I think that stuff matters to him.
And one last thing, and we appreciate your time today, because like I said, I know it's busy. When I mentioned Brady, you were around him a ton. You've seen him now from a distance. Does he still kind of amaze you when you see him going the way he's going? And you just look and now it's different. Now you're just watching him on TV. You had the one game in Foxboro, but it's kind of amazing, isn't it?
Unbelievable. I mean, part of it is, and this is not to diminish anything he's doing. I mean, I do think the way the game is played now with the way they're protecting the quarterbacks helps. That being said, I'll be the last person, Mike, to ever diminish what he's doing. I think just to prepare on a week-to-week basis, the mental grind of that, like, he is just unlike any other. And to me, like, I'm just sort of out of words to say about it. And I would say two things. One, that was a special moment in Foxboro week 4 when he came in, the way the crowd reacted first, but what happened after the game, when Bill Belichick just goes walking into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers locker room, the visitors' locker room, and you're like, did I just see what I think I saw? Bill Belichick, and comes out 20 minutes later, like 2 steps behind Tom. Like, they had a moment. And then Tom, you might have seen it on Monday Night Football a couple of weeks ago, had the post-game interview, and he said, an old coach of mine once said, it's not who you play, it's how you play when you play them. And I don't know if I was the only one that watched it and said, we just witnessed an unbelievable moment of Tom Brady speaking like Bill Belichick and referencing Bill Belichick on national television. Like, I just, those are the type of things when you've been around someone like that or covered them and they happen, that the hair on the back of your neck stands up a little bit.
It is kind of cool when you say it. Well, the Bills are going to see Brady down in Tampa the week after this game. And then, especially in the fan base's minds, both fan bases are thinking these two teams, whether it's the Patriots or the Bills, who knows, in LA in February, obviously it would be, especially for the Patriots, but even for the Bills after all those years, would be something to see. That's way ahead of where we are for Monday night. But Monday night should be special, I think. And we're really looking forward to it. And let everybody know you're going to be busy, I assume, on ESPN this week. They can certainly follow you on Twitter, where they can get all your stuff in addition to seeing you on ESPN.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I always say, like, on ESPN.com, there's like a page for every team. So I would say not just the Patriots. Don't just check me out. Check out Elena Getzenberg, who's new reporter out there, I think doing a great job. And so you can go on ESPN.com, on Twitter. It's just my name, Mike Reiss. And, it's we love football. I have to say, I love coming to Western New York. I love the Bills fans. I love the energy. To me, it's a reminder of all that's good about football in the NFL. So let's do it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a heck of a December. And we'll see you up there on Monday night. We appreciate it.
Look forward to it. Thanks for having me, Mike.
All right, Mike Reiss of ESPN. We thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel.